In today's story, a group of skilled criminals storms into a bank and executes a high-stakes robbery. They think they've pulled off the perfect job, but just when they're about to disappear into the shadows, everything begins to fall apart. Instead of freedom, they find themselves caught in a deadly trap between a ruthless mafia kingpin with a score to settle and a relentless police unit that won't stop until every last one of them is behind bars. Now, they're being hunted from both sides. The mafia wants blood, the cops want justice, and the robbers, they just want a way out. With every passing second, the pressure rises. Each decision could be their last. They must outsmart the mafia's hitmen, stay one step ahead of the police, and somehow trust each other long enough to survive. But survival won't come easy, because this game has no rules, and in the end, a shocking twist will flip everything on its head. 3 sides, 1 deadly chase. The question isn't who's right, it's who's left standing. Stick around till the very end, because this ride, it only gets crazier. At the start of the movie, we see 4 people wearing gas protection masks escaping after robbing a bank. Max, a detective, arrives at the bank as soon as he hears about the robbery, determined to catch the thieves. At the same time, he informs his boss, Nathan, about the situation. Max already suspects that this robbery was carried out by Jacob, a notorious criminal on the police's most wanted list. Nathan orders Max that under no circumstances should Jacob slip out of their reach. Following Nathan's orders, Max chases Jacob, who escapes with his team into a tunnel. The tunnel is narrow, while the motorcycles can easily enter. Max can't take his car inside. Jacob instructs his team to turn off their bike engines and proceed on foot, moving slowly to avoid making noise that could give away their location. As they move quietly, Max seizes the chance and attacks one of them. Luckily, Max captures Jacob, the most wanted criminal. After a tense struggle, Jacob shoots Max in the leg and escapes with his team. The scene then jumps ahead 3 years. We see a boy named Ryan sitting nervously on a plane. His face shows extreme distress, and we notice blood on his body. He has been shot. Just as the plane begins to take off, Ryan suddenly opens the door and jumps out. He pulls out his phone and calls his father for help, saying he's in serious danger. We learn that Ryan is Jacob's son. Before Ryan can finish his call, he collapses to the ground and is arrested by airport police. Meanwhile, a frustrated and broken Max is seen struggling with his injured leg, which still causes him intense pain 3 years after Jacob shot him. Max relies on painkiller injections to get through the day. At this moment, a woman named Sarah arrives at Max's home. She is also a detective and has feelings for Max. In the next scene, Max and Sarah are seen escorting a man named Dean, who is accused of murder. Dean is suspected of killing Otis Blake, but there is no solid evidence against him. When Max brings Dean to the investigation office, Nathan orders another officer to release Dean. The case against Dean has fallen apart. The witness changed his statement, and the police no longer have enough proof to hold Dean as a murderer. Meanwhile, Jacob is preparing to protect his son Ryan. At the same time, Nathan discusses Ryan's case with other officers. He reveals that the bullet found in Otis Blake's body during the post-mortem is the same type as the one lodged in Ryan. Since the bullets match, there must be a connection between Ryan and Otis Blake. Additionally, before being caught at the airport, Ryan had made a call to a phone number in Iceland. When people get into trouble, the first thing they usually do is contact their parents. It's likely that Ryan called his father, Jacob. Meanwhile, Nathan comes up with a plan to send a task force team to Iceland to capture Jacob. Max, however, senses that Nathan is oversimplifying things. Jacob is a smart and cunning man. Catching him won't be as easy as Nathan makes it seem. Jacob always seems one step ahead of the police. When Max shares the plan to catch Jacob openly, Nathan takes it as a slight against his ego. This causes tension between the two, and Nathan starts teasing Max. The scene shifts to Iceland, where the task force surrounds Jacob's house. But the police don't know that Jacob had planted a bomb there earlier and escaped. As the officers approach, the bomb detonates, killing all of them. Police Chief Thomas holds a press conference to reassure the public, promising that the police will soon root out the terrorists completely. It's also revealed that a mayoral candidate is involved in the murder of Otis Blake. However, the police hide this information from the media for their own reasons. We'll learn more about this later. Max advises Thomas to leak Ryan's location to the media. This way, word will spread that Ryan is still alive and Jacob will come to protect his son, providing the perfect chance to catch Jacob red-handed. Thomas agrees, but warns Max to stay away from the Otis Blake murder case. which is under Nathan's control. As we know, Max and Nathan don't get along, so they try to keep their distance. Meanwhile, Jacob meets an old friend named Roy after a long time. Both are happy to see each other. Jacob asks for Roy's help to protect Ryan from the police. Here we learn about Roy's connection to Ryan. Recently, Ryan had built a strong bond with Otis Blake. One day, Otis was killed, but Roy tells Jacob that both Otis and Ryan have the same type of bullet from a revolver lodged inside them. Luckily, Ryan survived, but he remains under police watch and could face another attack anytime. Next, we see Jacob visiting the hospital where Ryan is being treated. Ryan's condition is critical, and it's hard for Jacob to bear seeing his son like this. Max and Sarah keep an eye on Ryan through CCTV. As soon as Max spots Jacob on camera, he rushes to catch him. But once again, Jacob manages to slip away, outsmarting Max. Jacob leaves the hospital and heads to meet Roy, who is waiting with a car. Jacob explains that Ryan is guarded with so much security at the hospital that it's almost impossible to sneak him out. At this point, we learn that Ryan passed away in the hospital while seriously ill. Jacob had visited the hospital, and after hearing this, Thomas scolds Max harshly because Max failed to catch Jacob. Still, Max pleads with Thomas not to make Ryan's death public. If the news gets out, Jacob won't risk coming to the hospital to see Ryan, making it even harder to catch him. Thomas reluctantly agrees to keep it quiet. Meanwhile, Jacob and Roy head to the hotel where Ryan stayed. They search Ryan's room and find a bag full of cash, some of the bills stained with blood. Jacob realizes Ryan was involved in something much bigger and more dangerous. The question now is, where did this money come from? Roy tells Jacob that before Ryan got caught by the police, they need to spread news of his whereabouts in the mafia world to find clues. In the next scene, tension rises between Sarah and Max. Max only seems focused on Jacob's case and ignores Sarah's warnings to investigate Otis Blake's murder as well. Taking her advice, Max starts digging into the Blake case but finds no useful information from a key witness. Then Max hears a rumor that Ryan is still hiding in that same hotel. Max immediately suspects Jacob is behind the false tip, meaning Jacob must be planning something big. Without wasting time, Max heads to the hotel. Unbeknownst to Max, Jacob is already hiding in Ryan's hotel room, waiting to see who comes looking for the money-filled bag. When he senses someone inside, he jumps out and opens fire. Max arrives just in time to see Jacob shoot another police officer and run away. Max chases him but falls down the stairs, badly hurting himself. Taking advantage of this, Jacob escapes. Back in the hallway, Max finds a pair of glasses that will help him uncover the mystery. Next, Sarah follows Dean alone to a warehouse where he's storing containers, but Dean attacks and kills Sarah, dragging her body away. Meanwhile, Max questions Thomas about why two officers were sent to Ryan's hotel room, where two men, Haven and Nathan, were found dead. Max also reveals the glasses he found belonged to Nathan. Thomas admits he sent Haven and Nathan there, suspecting Jacob might be present. Max loses trust in Thomas, suspecting that Thomas and Nathan are involved in something big, possibly even Ryan's murder, but are hiding the truth. Seeking answers about Haven, Max contacts another officer and learns that Haven knew Otis Blake personally. At the same time, Jacob calls Nathan, threatening him for his mistakes and promising punishment, something Jacob intends to carry out himself. Nathan nervously denies involvement, but agrees to meet Jacob that night to reveal who's really behind everything. In the following scene, Dean brings Sarah's dead body to Max's house, planning to frame Max for her murder. Meanwhile, Thomas informs Max that Jacob and Nathan will meet at a club that night. Max gets the club's address from Thomas and rushes out. Jacob arrives at the club, unaware that Nathan has lured him there to kill him. Nathan, in cahoots with Dean, has set a deadly trap. As Jacob cautiously enters, the eerie silence makes him suspicious. Suddenly, Max appears and starts shooting at Jacob, who defends himself. Hearing the gunfire, Nathan and Dean join in the attack. If both Max and Jacob die, Nathan would eliminate two threats at once, but Nathan's plan backfires when Jacob shoots and kills him. Seeing Nathan's death, Dean panics and flees immediately. Now, a fierce fight breaks out between Jacob and Max, and the clever Jacob finally overpowers Max. Jacob takes Max to the gunpoint and asks him to bring him to Ryan. Max agrees. At the hospital, Max takes Jacob straight to the morgue, where Ryan's body lies. Seeing Ryan's corpse, Jacob becomes extremely emotional. In that moment, he's on the verge of shooting Max, but something deep inside stops him. He lowers his gun, and Max breathes a sigh of relief. As they're leaving the morgue, they see an officer bringing in another body. It's Syra. Her body has been brought in for post-mortem. When Max realizes it's Sarah, he breaks down. In the next scene, Jacob and Max are sitting together. Now, Max has been accused of murdering Sarah, and Jacob is charged with aiding a criminal. Max becomes one of the most wanted men. Their pain is now equal. They've both lost the person they loved the most, and both are now in equal danger. Jacob asks Max who is behind all this. Max tells him it's Dean. He was also part of today's attack. Max asks Jacob why he didn't shoot him 3 years ago when he had the chance. Jacob replies that he had no personal grudge against Max. He just wanted to escape and shot Max in the leg to get away. In the next scene, Dean returns home to find Max, Jacob, and Roy waiting. Roy is holding Dean's grandmother at gunpoint. Max reveals that Dean has been working for a company called Kincaid, making a lot of money. But what does he do? Why did he kill Oates, Blake, Ryan, and Sarah? Who else is involved? Dean pretends to surrender and begins to talk, but suddenly pulls out a hidden revolver and starts shooting. Roy is hit in the chest. A brutal shootout follows. Eventually, Dean is overpowered by Max, who tells him to set up a meeting with Thomas. Roy dies from excessive blood loss. In the next scene, we see Thomas meeting a woman named Jane. He tells her Dean suddenly called for a meeting. Thomas is now suspicious that Max may have learned everything, either through Dean or some other source. Here's the real story. Mayoral candidate Robert orchestrated a scheme to win the election using people like Oates, Blake, Ryan, Dean, Thomas, Nathan, the Kincaid Company, and many others as pawns. Jane learns everything, and now that the plan is collapsing, she starts denying it all to avoid massive fallout. If the truth comes out that Robert played a deadly game with people's lives to win an election, it would be catastrophic. Jacob and Max take Dean to the planned meeting spot. Thomas arrives and is quickly captured. Max fires question after question at him. When Thomas stays silent, an enraged Jacob shoots him. Wounded, Thomas begins to spill everything, and the entire web unravels. Dean was an illegal arms dealer. Jane, who worked as Robert's event manager, brought Dean and Thomas together. Jane arranged for the weapons through Dean and gave Thomas the job of ensuring it all went smoothly. Dean then hired Ryan and Oates Blake to deliver the weapons. The plan was for Thomas to arrest Ryan and Oates during the operation, making it seem like a major arms bust. This would terrify the public and allow Robert to campaign publicly against illegal arms, blaming the opposition. This would boost Robert's popularity and secure him votes. Nowhere in the plan was anyone supposed to die, but during the deal, Oates Blake recognized a police officer named Howen. That made him realize the police were involved. If this leaked, everyone, including Thomas and the whole corrupt team, would be exposed, so Ryan and Oates were killed to silence them. The Kincaid Company was behind the weapons delivery, working under a deal with Robert. In return for helping Robert become mayor, Robert promised to secure multi-million-dollar export contracts for Kincaid through private sector deals. These private companies don't hesitate to commit crimes if there's money involved. While Jacob and Max are interrogating Thomas, Kincaid's shooters arrive and open fire. Max and Jacob fight back fiercely. Max is shot in the shoulder. During the shootout, all of Kincaid's shooters are killed. Dean tries to shoot Jacob, but Max shoots Dean in the head from behind. They then kill Thomas too. Now, only Jacob and Max are left alive. In the final scene, Jacob does everything he can, but in Max's eyes, he'll always be a criminal. Max drops his revolver and prepares to shoot Jacob. Just then, he remembers how 3 years ago, Jacob had the chance to kill him, but chose not to. Out of humanity, Max lets Jacob escape. Soon after the police arrive, Max willingly surrenders. Since there's no clear evidence yet, he's still the main suspect in Sarah's murder, and the movie ends here. Friends, how did you like this story? Please make sure to comment and let me know. We'll meet again with a new story, a new video. Thank you.